Welcome on to the Tortillas and Takes podcast. You are on once again with your boy, Albie Shaw, and we are back. We are back. We had to take a little bit of a hiatus. My partner in crime here got his own partner in crime. That's right. He's a married man. So back off, ladies. A guy I'm talking about is the people's champ, or his wife's champ, I should say. Hey-o. Jeremy Gillen. What's going on, Jeremy?
Back off, ladies. Back off, gentlemen. New life, new wife.
Hey, yo.
New house. Yeah. I'm at the stage of unpacking where Albert was like, "Hey, you getting on?" And I was like, "I actually don't know where the cord to my microphone is," and I still don't. I'm using my headphones as a microphone, so not as great a quality, not as bad as quality, but happy to be back podcasting. It's felt like forever. A lot is going on. We are in the thick of the most historic season for Texas Tech softball to date. Like, we are living history right now in so many different ways. Football and everything around football continues to get crazier and crazier, but Texas Tech remains firmly as the instigator, as the benefactor is what I was trying to say. Beneficiary, same thing, of that conversation. It's a crazy time, Texas Tech. We've got three unanimous Big 12 coaches of the year. Things are kind of wild. I remember a time, Albert, years ago, when we were asking ourselves, "Is this the golden age of Texas Tech athletics?" And I think if we would have known what was coming, we would have laughed at ourselves at that moment. We would definitely have laughed at ourselves, because this is a really interesting time.
Yeah, so I mean, let's talk about that. So like that, when we talked about that, that was like late 2010s, right? The basketball team, it was either right before they went to the national championship game or right after. The baseball team had gone to the Final Four. The football team played games. The soccer team had just began starting their ascent into being really good. I think at the time, Janine Becky was on the team or just left the team. And so that late 2010s era is what we're talking about, right? Tennis was consistently good. Golf was consistently good. Track was consistently top 10. And that's when we were really talking about that being the golden age, right? Because we were, you had two nationally, or three, if you can count, or four, I should say, if you count the track team, nationally contending teams for Texas Tech, right? So if we compare that to now, track is still track. They're still amazing. Both the men and the women were number one in the country this year the women were number one in the country at one point in time this year. The men were number one in the country at one point last year. We won an indoor national championship last year. We won an outdoor national championship a couple years back. The soccer team, right, back-to-back years of impressive showing, right, winning a Big 12 championship, going to what did we go to, the second or third round last year, or this year, I should say. Right, you have the men's basketball team, again, back at it, right, going all the way to the Elite Eight. The football team not being embarrassing. I wouldn't consider that the golden age, but they're not bringing us down like they were in the 2010s. And then and you were talking about the coach of the year. The tennis coach was the third coach to get that coach of the year spot. The tennis coach, tennis is doing, especially on the women's side, doing really well, doing really impressively, won the Big 12 title, right? But flip side of that, as far as the teams that are not doing so hot, women's basketball is as bad as ever. Now, to be fair, it was as bad as it was also bad in the 2010s. But baseball, abysmal.
Oh,
worst season in Tech history. So yeah, it's interesting to think about what is, like, comparatively, what would be considered the golden age. And I'm sure we're missing something way back when as well, but between now, which is we're now in smack dab in the mid 2020s versus the late 2010s.
Yeah, it's I guess, when you start to talk it out, it really depends on like what sports you're valuing and what sports you're looking at and saying, like, I love that sport, I want it to be successful. Because I was talking to somebody yesterday about the success of the softball team, and he was like, "You watching softball?" I'm like, "Buddy, I've been watching softball. I've had to watch a couple of really awkward coaching changes, and it seems surreal for the last coach in that line to now, hey, you know what? Big 12 championship. Let's host a regional. Like, let's get all these awards. Let's go for the whole World Series thing." And it's like, hey, this is insane. Loving it. But for people that don't watch softball, like, oh, I didn't realize we were so good. Well, we were not. We were not.
Well, you know what it all starts with? Let me tell you something. Red Raiders will not be embarrassed. And
that's right.
Our previous coach, whose name escapes me right now, and I'll Google it and find it, but the way that he left after the investment that was kind of at least paid into him, and I thought that he would be, bringing us up in a way, and that we'd be able to kind of move on. And Craig Snyder, Snyder resigning, leaving to take an assistant coaching job was pretty embarrassing. Like that's embarrassing. Our coach leaving for an SEC assistant job is embarrassing, and Texas Tech, we are not going to be embarrassed, right? There's a lot of things, at least embarrassed in a way that we can control it, right? And there's a lot of ways that like we can get kicked down, but that was one where it was almost like not just Kirby Hokut, but also some other Tech alums that do care about softball programs that absolutely not. You know what? Who is the hottest name out there? Not the hottest possible name, or not the hottest, hey, maybe. Give me a person that we know is a hot coaching commodity that we can go grab. Oh, there's that guy at Louisiana Lafayette, but I don't know if he'll be able to get him. No, we'll get him. Hey, don't you worry about us. I know he ain't looking for a new job, but we'll make him look. And that's what happened. I mean, Glasgow was not looking to leave Louisiana Lafayette. He seemed very happy there. And Tech came by with their money bags and was like, hey, pull up. And he pulled up. And now look at him.
He said, this and neither candidate. Yes? Yeah. Jerry's like, yep. Yeah. It's a no-brainer.
Stanford was over here like, y'all paying her how much? Oh, well.
Yeah, Stanford. Yeah. Hello?
Yeah. And it's worked out. It's worked out though. And it wasn't just Nigeria Canada. I mean, there was a lot of people we ended up bringing to the program, but like it's worked out. We steamrolled the Big 12. It was won the Big 12 a couple games ago. And I'm not going to perpetrate to y'all. I'm not a softball fan. I don't really watch softball very often. I'm more of a baseball watcher. But this year I watched some games. I turned it on. My wife was over here like, you're watching softball? Like, yes, I am. Canada's pitching. I'm going to watch her. Right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, kind of, and I think that's a lot of it. And also, Atlanta Johnson is very fun to watch, must say. Mm-hmm. Right? Very fun to watch. I will, very fun player to watch in general. So, and then with that, right, you get some things that bring you in, and then you start seeing other players like her, like Bailey Lindemuth, like Maya Davis, and stuff like that. And you're like, oh, okay, all right. Seems a little fun. I can rock with them.
That's right.
And then also, of course, everything that you and Philip tell me.
Well, we are looking at and Philip had a good tweet from the main account today talking about, if you look at the all Big 12 freshman team, there's teams like Iowa State who have a bunch of players on that team. But Texas Tech got 2 players on that on the all Big 12 freshman team between Haley Tooney and Bailey Lindemuth. And it's like, Glasgow is not just bringing in a bunch of elder people to kind of rock it and then leave it. It's like he brought in some really talented young freshmen who can help kind of establish a longevity of success in this team. So, it's just a really good kind of comprehensive look at it. I mean, you had in total, 10 people, 10 softball players get on the All Big 12 awards, obviously Nigeria Canada being first team with Maya Davis. First team honors was like your girl, Lynn Johnson, Bailey Lindemuth. Second team honors, Demi Elder, Alexa Langelier, Lauren Allred, and then, of course, the Big 12 freshman, along with Bailey, was Haley Tooney. So 10 softball, like 10 of your players
that's
getting
crazy.
Awards this season from like nobody last season. It's insane. So huge. It's a dream scenario for Texas Tech. It's a dream scenario for Kirby Hokut to go from, hey, I think we got our guy in Craig Snyder, to just joking Craig Snyder's leaving for some reason to take a lesser job, lesser tiered job, right, to be an assistant, to now, hey, we just won the Big 12 and we got 10, the hardware coming with it. It's been this weird parabola for Hokut with the softball program. And I'll tell you this much, I was in a meeting where he came and spoke to our group of staff senators, and he was talking about the teams that were still playing, and he left out softball. Like he was like, well, the academic year's finished, but we still got athletics going on. We've got this many teams still doing stuff. Baseball, however you look at that, they're still competing. Blah 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 blah. blah.
Look at that.
And then he didn't say anything. And then I was like, okay, as a podcaster, I cannot be the only voice in here to speak up. And somebody was like, softball? And he goes, oh, softball team. Yeah, thanks for keeping me accountable. And I was like, buddy, the softball team is the only reason.
Yeah. I'm about to say, because he's, especially on the women's side of things, he's got a lot of duds. Like, he's like, thank God one has come out positive.
Brother, there was a Q&A after, and I thought, I could just be like, hey, how'd you fudge that Aaliyah Chavez? So bad. But I didn't. I was very professional. But yeah, softball, I mean, incredible. And is a really good illustration of teams being able to turn it around by hiring the right coaches, by going after the right players, right?
Mm-hmm.
And softball, obviously, a micro example of that compared to larger sports, but something you can look at and say, because we're talking about basketball, TCU. I mean, you can have a substantial flip around in a small amount of time. So, hopefully this is a good signal.
What you trying to say? Cough, Lady Raider women's basketball team. So how quickly will Jerry Glasgow get this extension? What, today, tomorrow, a week from now? Because, Texas Tech, we love giving extensions.
Where's that lifetime
immediately.
Extension? That lifetime.
Immediately. Yeah. Are giving out lifetime extensions. Lord Jesus. Let me tell you something. This whole Tim Tadlock thing with baseball tells me you never, ever give anybody a lifetime extension. And I'm not even saying that in a way of like that Tim Tadlock should be fired. I'm not saying that. Right? He's the greatest coach in Texas Tech history. He's done amazing things for this program. Yada, yada, yada. No question about it. However, this is the worst season in Texas baseball season in Texas Tech history. It is. About a couple weeks ago when it was trending in this direction, I said, you know what? Let me not be hyperbolic. Let me actually go back and look at our history. Maybe I'm just forgetting back in 1943. Maybe there was a baseball season that was just as bad or just terrible. No. This is it.
That's right.
This is we have a 37% win percentage as of right now. It is bad. We are losing to everyone, right? And it hasn't. And also another thought was, maybe it'll just get better as the season. No, it has not. We lose to everybody. I don't we won the series against Baylor, so yay. That's about, and then we won the series against Arizona. But every other, we got swept by UT Rio Grande Valley. That's swept by UT RGV. Swept.
Yeah.
This is just a very, very bad team, right? So this is one of those. It actually reminds me. I was talking to Joe Lopez the other day. It reminds me a bit, or the changes that's going to be needed. Reminds me a bit of Oklahoma State football, right? Oklahoma State football. You got Mike Gundy. You can't fire Mike Gundy. He's the greatest coach Oklahoma State has ever had. He brought Oklahoma State from being a mediocre Big 12 team to winning multiple Big 12 titles. You can't get rid of him, right? However, last year, Oklahoma State had one of the worst seasons, at least one of the worst seasons they've had in a very, very long time. I think it was the worst season of Mike Gundy's tenure. And so you can't just continue with that. So what ended up happening for Oklahoma State football is they fired everybody but Gundy. So, Texas baseball, bye. Bye.
Is it a bad thing if you're already at the bottom?
Yeah, and I think there's two ways it can go from there, right? And Chris Girl's just figuring this out now as everybody from her staff is also gone. But it's really two ways. You now have a new staff, you fix it, right? Scott Drew's a good example of this. If some people may forget this, but Scott Drew, been basketball coach from Baylor, at one point was on the hot seat at Baylor, right? And he didn't necessarily clean house in his staff, but there was a lot of staff turnover some years ago when he was on the hot seat. And with that staff turnover, they were able to rise back up. And now Baylor's won a national championship. They're known as a you could argue the top basketball program in the state. And so they've Scott Drew's really turned it around at that program. There's another way it can go, right? The other way it can go is Gary Patterson, football coach at TCU, right? When Gary Patterson started slipping, his coaching staff kind of had a turnaround, but he never picked it up. And eventually they said, hey, Gary Patterson, we know you're a legendary coach, but we got to let you go, man. We can't keep trending in this direction, right?
Yep.
And so Tadlock, Gundy, there's two ways both of y'all can go. And hopefully for Tadlock's sake, I don't give a damn about Gundy's sake. I hope he crashes and burns. But for Tadlock's sake, I hope he with this. I do hope we clean house. I mean, me and Joe were talking about Gardner leaving a year ago, and he's still on staff.
I think
don't let that loyalty
get you for some time.
Yeah, don't let that loyalty get you killed and get you fired, right? Because this is ridiculous. And honestly, Tadlock always keeps a stoic face, so I'm not necessarily saying he doesn't care. But it's one of those things where the stoic face is cool when you're 28 and 17. It's cool when you're like, or actually even 28 and 17 is not a great record, but it's cool when have a winning record and you're up and you're competing for Big 12 titles and like, man, look at my stoic head coach. When you're losing a lot, it ain't so cool. People start
it's concerning. Then it's like, what are we doing?
Exactly. So great softball, awful baseball. For some reason, we can never have both. I don't know what it is.
Whatever.
Yeah. So it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah, but I will say other spring sports. Your boy Ludwig almost won the Masters.
Almost, man. Almost. I tell you, it came down from what was he behind?
Was he batting?
No. Stop. I actually don't know the appropriate term. He was under. He was like 8th or 9th and then had a really good couple of holes and shot all the way up. And when I saw him, he was like, hey, Ludwig's kind of leading the group here. It's like, we can get this, you know?
Yeah.
But
I like
at the end.
I love how road raiders are always like Ludwig, like we're about to win. If Pat wins, Mahomes, it's all us. It's all us, baby.
That's right. But doesn't matter how it turns out. Like Ludwig has had such a meteoric rise, and I think about like this is a couple years ago. He was just playing Texas Tech golf, and just like, I'm pretty good. And now
he's the 6th ranked golfer in the world. That's crazy.
Now 6th ranked golfer in what's a Tiger Woods shit, right? But like. But it's really it's a really impressive rise. I hope that he sustains that, continues to improve on his game and be in that conversation because he's an excellent golfer. And I just think that's one of those things that we don't really get to enjoy as a collegiate sport very much. Is they're not being broadcasted anywhere. They're not being like it's hey, let's catch up on it with maybe their Twitter account and maybe they're posting updates and stuff like that, but there's never like a live stream. But then you get to the professional level, all those things are on TV, and so you get that exposure, you get that level of like, oh wow, like he is this good, and you get to see him in action, and he's honestly a treat to watch when you get to watch him. So really cool to see, and to continue to carry the double T around right in his bag and everything. It's like we love those ambassadors who leave the university but carry the university with them, because that's the stuff that magnifies Texas Tech on the like national stage.
And it really is like everybody. Like, it's funny. I got some friends from elsewhere that didn't go to Tech, and they act like they like, especially my friends that went to Texas, like they act like we're nobodies and yada yada yada. But people that go to Tech, man, we love the university so much. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't see. Like, I forget that Kevin Durant went to Texas. And I'm not saying that he doesn't donate back to Texas and he doesn't support the university and all that stuff, but I forget. Do you ever forget that Pat Mahomes went to Texas Tech? I know people that say he's annoying with it. That's cool. He can be annoying with it, right?
Yeah.
Like, you will never forget that he went to Texas Tech whatsoever. Ludwig, like you mentioned, it's a double T on his bag. I don't see anybody's college on anybody's bag. I don't know where Scotty Scheffler went to school. I have no idea.
Right. Who cares about that?
I have no idea, but Ludwig does, and so it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of crazy. It's also a big juxtaposition. I say that now, but like Crabbe never really threw the double T everywhere, but Amendola did.
Yeah.
Welker to an extent, but like you didn't see it from Crab a lot. So seeing it from Mahomes, seeing it from some of these other guys, Dream Grant when he was kind of running around, always threw up the guns up, right? And then so seeing guys get drafted, like Rogers getting drafted in the third round there. Caleb Rogers, sorry, I said Carlos Rogers. Caleb Rogers getting drafted in the third round there and repping the double T, repping Tech, right? Todd Brooks getting drafted in the sixth round, repping Tech, right? That's dope. That's cool.
It's cool to see. And you make a really good point. And there's a great Reddit thread that I'm a part of just to kind of keep an eye on as somebody who works at the university. That it's basically like Texas Tech. And it's a bunch of students and prospective students talking about like basically the theme of the thread is, should I come to Texas Tech? And the really awesome thing about that thread is that people are honest about like, hey man, like if you're looking for XYZ and you think that like Lubbock's going to give it to you, probably need to look somewhere else, but I will promise you that you will fall in love with this stupid university and this place, that when you leave, you will make it everybody's problem. It's just like
facts.
There's something true about that. Like, facts. Yeah, like I'm not going to say like, yeah, Lubbock, whoa. But I mean, Texas Tech is doing something. I will be the annoying guy because like you will like we're a dime a dozen. We're not everywhere, right? And so when we get to be on that stage, nobody wants to talk about Texas Tech. Like sports pundits and things like that. It's like nobody wants to talk about Texas Tech. So when we are successful, they have to, and we want you to know about it, right? So it's like put some respect on our.
We got a $40 million football roster now. So
that's right. That's exactly right.
It's crazy. That's wild. It was funny seeing that graphic where it was like these 6 teams are spending $40 million on the roster. Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, Texas Tech. I'm like, yeah.
Texas Tech, like the golden retriever of all those police dogs. That's right. Happy to be here.
That's right. So talking a little bit about the football team, and I mentioned the draft. So Caleb Rogers, a 3rd round pick. We talked about it pre-pod. Coming into the draft, I should say, there were 3 guys that I was pretty sure was going to get drafted, right? I thought Caleb Rogers would go anywhere between the 4th and 6th round. I thought Todd Brooks would go anywhere between the 4th and 6th round. I thought that tight end.
Mason Thor?
No.
I'm sorry. You're talking about oh wow. It's been some time, hasn't it?
Oh my goodness.
We suck. I see his picture. I see his face.
Jalen Conyers, sorry.
Conyers.
And that Jalen Conyers would be drafted between the 4th and 6th round. I was right about one person and wrong about the other 2. Right. Caleb Rogers gets drafted in the 3rd round, so ahead of where I was expecting, to the Las Vegas Raiders. So he stays, as he would say, Raider for life. Todd Brooks gets drafted in the 6th round, which I think a lot of people that have been following Todd Brooks for a while was kind of surprised he slid that far. But a lot of it just has to do with, man, this running back class is nuts.
It's pretty strong class.
Dude, it's nuts. It's nuts, man. If he did, and mind you, he got paid quite a bit to stay an extra year, so I don't think he's regretting it one bit. And also, he's going to have his name in the Texas Tech record books. But last year, he's probably a 3rd round pick, maybe even 2nd round pick with how weak that running back class was. This year, it's insane. It's an insane class. And so but it doesn't matter about him getting picked 6th. It's about him being put in a good opportunity. I think the Bengals is a good opportunity. I was reading some stuff from some Bengals fans and some Bengals reporters that says he'll have every opportunity to crack a rotation here with the Bengals. Like they don't, there's the opportunities definitely there. But the most surprising one that Todd Brooks drafted 6 was Jalen Conyers not getting drafted at all. Right, Conyers, that was one, and to me, I look at Conyers, and Conyers, you could argue he's maybe a little undersized, right? He's a 6'3" tight end, which is kind of short for a tight end, right? But he's his size, he's so versatile, so athletic, so this, so that. So him becoming an undrafted free agent, and signing to the Miami Dolphins, a bit of a surprise to me, right? I mean, I know a lot of guys would rather be undrafted free agent and pick where you get to go as opposed to being like a 7th round pick, but still, he was one of the highest rated undrafted free agent, so he'll get his opportunity in Miami. And again, it's all about opportunity, but that is a little bit more of a loaded field at the tight end position for Conyers, but he'll have to get it out the mud, if you will. So, what were your thoughts about those three specifically?
Caleb Rogers was a surprise for me, and not because it's somebody that was so up and down during the season. I was just like, okay, nothing special. I often, and I'm so prone to do this, is I don't look at linemen enough as like measurable players for the NFL. I think the NFL oftentimes looks at linemen as very much like, what are you bringing measurable wise into this? Because we'll get you trained up. Like, we'll get you what we need to do. Like, if you have the basic foundations, footwork, and all that, IQ, if you're a big boy, I'm going to use you, right? Mm-hmm. And so I often undervalue that. I look towards the draft as like an opportunity to really highlight and reward players who have been extraordinary throughout the year, who have been great football players. And so I don't often give linemen, defensive and offensive, their due, offense especially. So Caleb Rogers going where he did, I guess I could see it. We'll see how it plays out. It is what it is.
He's kind of the opposite of Conyers in that he fits the bill. He like size-wise, he fits the bill. Experience-wise, he fits the bill. And I think one of the things that got him drafted so early, or even projected so early, was his versatility. Right, so he played tackle for the most part for Tech, but I think most people agree, I think most people agree that he might be better suited at guard. And so he was kind of viewed as an overall lineman that can play any position. And he was even taking some snaps at center during warm-up to the draft. So it's interesting.
Yeah. So interesting is a good way to put it. But great. I mean, success. Awesome. Good job, dude. With Brooks, absolutely. I was disappointed they didn't go high. I was thinking, okay, maybe 3 to 5, because I was hoping that some management would be like, you know what? I see this production. I see what he's done for Texas Tech. For a school that's traditionally an air raid, I was hoping they'd get that narrative and like, okay, let's buy into Taj Brooks. But he didn't, and that's okay. And like you said, I mean, you had guys, obviously Ashton Genty, obviously Quishon Judkins from Ohio State. You had Scattaboo from Arizona State, RJ Harvey. There were so many running backs in this class that, it is what it is. Got drafted, and that's what matters. At the end of the day, buddy, you were drafted. And to the Bengals, I'm not upset about that because, like you said, he's not going to just be sitting as backup for a long time. He's probably going to make an impact a lot earlier on that roster. So could end up being a really good scenario for Brooks. And does he stay on the Bengals for his whole career? Probably not, right? Yeah. But we'll see how it plays out. He's somebody who's going to work his ass off. And so I think this is a really great opportunity for him. For Conyers to end up in Miami, hey, that could be good, right? We've seen some really good undrafted free agents end up being successful. It's a little bit
there's worse places to be forced to go.
That's right, buddy.
To start your
NFL on an NFL team, buddy,
in Miami.
Yeah. You're doing okay.
You're doing okay.
You're not ended up in Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think this class was. I think that it was a pretty okay. I'm not surprised. I don't feel like anybody got snubbed. Right. I'm like, great. It was a great season for us, but not spectacular NFL wise. So next year we better see some people going.
Yeah, facts. And so speaking of which, there were 2 other guys that were hoping to hear their name drafted, but we already knew they were going to be borderline. So that's Josh Kelly, wide receiver. He ended up signing an undrafted free agent contract for the Dallas Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? I hope they lose a lot of games, but then Josh Kelly makes the team. That's kind of where I'm at right there.
That's right.
But he's going to have an uphill climb to try to make this team, but that's okay. He did get signed as a free agent, so he's going to be able to make his way to training camp and all that jazz. So we'll see where Kels gets. And then Braylon Lux. If you listened to me last year, you know how much I like Braylon Lux. Thought he was a very underrated corner, and he's going with Taj to Cincinnati. So I also signed as an undrafted free agent. And we had 2 more guys also that didn't necessarily get undrafted free agents, but we're hoping to hear their names go to at least a little rookie camp. and CJ Baskerville, probably the most improved player of the team the last 2 years, if you ask me. CJ Baskerville going to Denver as a camp invitee, and then our boy Mason Tharp coming to the home team.
The Texans.
The Houston Texans. That's right.
That's right.
So talking about cities, I mean, we got
hometown.
The worst city of that group is Cincinnati. And that's not even, if you've been to Cincinnati, that's not a bad city. The worst thing about Cincinnati is that they don't know how to make chili. But other than that, like Cincinnati, Denver, Houston, Dallas, or Arlington, Miami, Vegas, not bad cities our guys are getting drafted to. Nobody had to go to Green Bay. Nobody had to go to Jacksonville.
You are forgetting one person, though, Albie. Dre McCray. Wide receiver Dre McCray goes to the Saskatchewan Roughriders up there in Canada. That's right.
I was unaware.
The CFL.
I'm not tapped in. I'm sorry. I'm not tapped in.
That's right, buddy. Up to the Saskatchewan.
Canada. Listen, you better ask about Jamar Wall. You can make a long career playing up in Canada.
Listen, right? I agree.
Yeah, Jamar, I don't know, man. Let me tell you something, man. Jamar is a little bit older than I am. And I'm looking it up right now. He just retired. That man played way too long up in Calgary. Okay. Yeah. I don't even.
Listen, if you love the sport,
that doesn't even
no shame on you. If you love the sport, no shame on you. Collect your money, play your game, retire.
Man, that does not even compute with me to still possibly play.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Well, it's CFL. They age slower up there. It's just
is that what it is?
Yeah.
Actually, one of my good buddies is playing in the CFL right now. I think he's playing for Edmonton, the Edmonton Elks.
The Elks.
Yeah, the Edmonton Elks. All right, so there you go. So we're gonna end it off on this note. We were talking about this pre-pod when it comes to football, but not just the draftees, but we've mentioned it before. This football team is stacked, right? We got a bunch of players on this team now. Number one in the portal class, either number one or two, depending on which service you use. Cody Campbell decided to put out a tweet saying this is the greatest transfer portal class of all time. Let's pump the brakes a little bit, Cody. But either way, really great transfer portal class, and with that comes expectations. And so I was discussing this with a friend of mine, and it got me to looking into some things and questioning some things, and actually seeing, because I had the comment and the statement to this person that Texas Tech will almost assuredly be preseason ranked, which was to his surprise. He didn't expect it. Then we started looking, and so Pete Nakos from On3 put us in his preseason ranking, and it wasn't like we got in at 25. I think I'd have to look back at it, but it was comfortably in. And Mark Schlabach from ESPN that I'm reading right now has Texas Tech ranked 16th in his post-spring rankings. That's the best inclination of how these people are thinking for their preseason rankings. Typically, things aren't going to really change much from the post-spring rankings to the preseason rankings, right? And so he has us as 16th. And at the end of the day, right, like a lot of the times, and this happens frequently with Texas Tech, that we're overlooked when it comes to these things, right? Because in the national media, they're not really thinking about let alone Texas Tech. However, let's face it, we have made a lot of noise when it comes to transfer portal. Everybody knows Texas Tech was either number 1 or 2 in the transfer portal rankings this offseason. Everybody knows Texas Tech got a guy who's projected to be a first or second round pick at defensive end in David Bailey. Everyone knows that they got Romello Height from Georgia Tech. Everybody knows they got Lee Hunter. Knows we got Howard Sampson. Knows we beat out Texas for Howard Sampson from North Carolina. Right? Like they know about all these things that are so, and that's national media. I'm not even talking about Tech fans or even people living in Texas, even people in the Big 12. National media knows about these moves that have been made by Texas Tech. So national media, when it comes time to put down the votes in the AP poll at the beginning of the year, they can say, "Oh man, well, Texas, I got to put Texas Tech in here somewhere." Right? And so I do expect us to be preseason ranked, and which would be pretty wild. It'd be one of the, I believe, only the 4th time in our history that we've been preseason ranked, which is pretty cool. Actually, only 4 other times. So this will be the fifth time in our history that we've been preseason ranked. Jeremy, you'll be excited to know that every time that we have been, did I hop off?
No, I'm excited to know.
You'll be excited to know that every time we've been preseason ranked, our end of the year ranking has been higher than our preseason ranking, except once.
What?
Okay. So there was
there
one
it
time.
Is. There it is.
But here's the thing: in 1954, we were still ranked at the end of the year. We just went from 19th to 20th.
Oh my god!
So don't worry about it. But every other time we have actually increased from our preseason ranking. Last time we were preseason ranked was the great 2008 year. We started off the year ranked 12th. We got all the way up to 2nd, and then we finished the year at 12th. We leveled out, but we've always we've never gotten worse. So we've always been kind of right there or a little bit above. Another good example of this is when we started out the season 25th and ended 24th. Started out the season 21st and ended 20th. So I say all that to say wherever we start, there's a good inclination of where we're going to end when it comes to the preseason ranking.
Way you led up to that one was a lot different, Howard.
Yeah. But I mean, overall, I do expect this to be preseason ranked, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. It'll be only the 5th time in our history that we're preseason ranked. And so it'll actually be, we actually also, what's funny about this is we haven't been ranked in 7 years. So we're going to start the season off likely preseason ranked, and we have not been ranked, period, in 7 years. We haven't been ranked since Cliff Kingsbury was the coach.
Wow. There's no way. Preseason? Oh, wow.
No, ranked. We have not been ranked since Cliff Kingsbury was the coach. We have not been ranked for 2 consecutive weeks since Tommy Tuberville was the coach.
Buddy,
sorry. Since Cliff Kingsbury's first year. I got the years mixed up. Since Cliff Kingsbury's first year. So 2013 was the last time we were ranked for multiple consecutive weeks or for multiple weeks in a season. We have not been ranked higher.
I'm a little flabbergasted.
Yeah, we have not been ranked higher than 24th since 2013.
Dude, that's wild. That's wild when you're thinking like the prospectus of like expectation that people have for our program. And it's like, do you realize how long it's been since we've been consistently good? That's insane.
Yeah. But I also think that's what's pushed Campbell and us.
Oh, for sure.
It's almost like saying we're not Boston College, damn it.
That's right. It's like, what tier are you actually in if you're not doing any of these like marketable having any of these marketable successes? Yeah, that's wild. Yeah. I didn't realize the ranking thing. I was for sure we've been ranked, recently, but
nope, not in 7 years, and not higher than 2014 in 12 years.
Or
higher than 24, in 12 years. So yeah, it's truly, truly incredible amounts of futility. But I will say, we were joking about the pre-pod. This got to be the team, man. This got to be it. We can't go 8-4 again. I know 8-4. I know we've actually even had podcasts where we said that 8-4, Texas Tech is the type of university, where 8-4 will work, and all we ask for is multiple 8-4 seasons and one Cinderella season. This got to be the Cinderella year. It has to be, because this has got to be it. If we go all in for a 7-5, 8-4 season,
Cinderella rolling up in a Rolls Royce, though. But yeah,
it's a $40 million team.
Yeah, we're going to be on a 30 for 30 one way or another. And buddy, I hope it's for a good reason.
Facts. So we'll see. We'll see. A lot of this is going to lead on 2 people. Because there's no more scapegoats. It'll only lead on 2 people, land on 2 people, and that'll be Baron Morton and Joey McGuire. So things go sideways. Let me tell you, whether it's their fault or not, we know that this fan base is going to turn on those 2 people.
That's right. In that order.
Yeah, I agree. So anything else you want to say to the people, Jeremy?
Summer looms. Off season is coming up, but Yeah, it's an exciting one. There's a lot of stuff going on in general. Softball right now is giving us a reason to be able, to have some excitement about the double T. Uh, mollywopped Baylor 4-0, which feels like it wasn't, but it was a breaking the levee style of, okay, then let's just rattle off a couple wins. Nigel Kennedy striking out 13 Bears, 13 strikeouts in one game. Insane. There's a reason she's national player, the national pitcher of the year. So,
question for you: who wins in a fight? 100 Nigel Kennedys or one grizzly bear?
Do the Nigel Kennedys have a softball per player?
That's part of her package.
That's right. So if we have 100 softballs flying in there, oh, dude, give me the Nigel Kennedys. It'll be close. But I think about 97, 98, that bear is going to be stumbling, bumbling, falling over, finally break through that thick exterior to knock that grizzly. Grizzly bears are scary, man. They're huge.
All right. So real quick, I know I was joking, but I actually think 100 men could take a gorilla. I think 100 men can take a gorilla. Am I crazy? I think 100 men can take a gorilla. I will say this, but I think some people are right, and that men are gonna get scared. Like, I'm not gonna be one of the 100. I'm not stupid, right?
Yeah.
But so I do think that people are right that the first 10 are gonna go in there, and then it'd be like, and everybody's gonna retreat. But I'm talking about 100 guys that have a death wish and are committed to the cause, attacking and in secession. Yeah, I think they'd beat a gorilla. Come on now.
Do you want the long or short of it?
Give me the short of it.
Yeah. So I went on a deep dive. Basically, if we've got 100 guys, I would dare to say if we have 50 guys, they could kill a gorilla.
Thank you.
Because people are assuming just like us, every animal in the kingdom has muscle fatigue. That gorilla is going to absolutely bloody and destroy the first X amount of people, but it's going to get tired at some point. It cannot continue to rip and tear. Gorillas are actually one of the more lazy apes of the entire primate family. So it gets 4 or 5 people in, it's probably going to lose interest and lose effort. And then at that point, you just got, however many can fit around just waylaying on this exhausted gorilla. I don't know, man. I don't see any. 100 is insane. 100 is like, I don't see how many people are making an argument about the gorilla. 50, I'm like, okay, now we got ourselves a fight, right? Remember the time that Mike Tyson was trying to pay that zookeeper to go fight the gorilla? I don't know. Tyson in his prime, one good hit. I don't know.
If you see Mystical against a grizzly bear, help the bear. That's what he said.
That's right. Help the bear.
So, softball, we are smack dab in the Big 12 tournament, like Jeremy was saying. I think one advantage we have there is where the Women's College World Series is held every year in the same field, and usually the Oklahoma Sooners have that advantage where they're like, oh, this is our home field. This is Norman North or whatever they call it, right? But now in the SECs, they don't get to play here during the conference tournament. So we have that advantage, and this is a team that I do think, when I say I think, I don't really know because, again, I'm not as tapped in softball as Jeremy and Philip are. But you know what I do have? Fandom. And my fandom is going to help propel the Lady Raiders to the Women's College World Series. And if we do get there, we'll have that advantage because, we would have played hopefully 3 games in Oklahoma City. So same ballpark.
That's right.
Yeah. So for the People's Champ that is Jeremy Gillen, this is your boy, Albie Shore, and you've been listening to the Tortillas and Takes podcast, part of the 1012 Nation and 1012 Network. As always, stay right, people.